Good afternoon, my dear students. In this revision lecture, we will discuss something about the valuation. So many students are calling me, and here also in college they approached me and said that, sir, we want one lecture on valuation. Therefore, on their demand, I am posting this video on YouTube. You can check, and definitely this will help you in getting good marks in exam. Just we'll discuss the important things from the point of view of exam here. Okay, now let's move to our regular screen. My dear students, I have already circulated these notes on a Telegram channel. You can check. There is some error in video. You will not get the video recording device quality nicely, but my dear students, you will understand. Correct. These notes are very clear. The PDF is clear, and then here in this, my target is to just make a video of 30 minutes. Therefore, as like regular classes, I will not explain everything in detailed manner, just will give you hints. As far as this segment exam is concerned, you will get evaluation only for practical purpose. That means 15 marks question on evaluation you will get, and in evaluation all three methods, not only question on just net asset or on a yield or on fair, but all three methods put together, you will get a full 14 marks question. And what about the multiple choice and fill in the blanks? There also you could get one or two, but for that you can definitely read. There you must read the meaning of valuation, then what it mean by value, and who can become the valuer, or the valuer means actually yes, the person, correct there. And if you want to valuer, then also you will find related to that theory in our notes, correct. Then they have given something about the share, the meaning of share, then meaning of stock, correct. Then what it mean by equity shares, what it mean by preference shares, and all you know, correct? No need to discuss. And as far as value is concerned, so many types of values: market value, book value, then here calculated value, correct. Then after that you will find your value if you calculate it, correct. So many types of values you will find, correct. But here par value, then after that we can say discounted value, premium value, correct. These types of values. But in this chapter we are going to calculate the value, and that will become calculated value. Then you will find needs of valuation. These needs, correct. Why we should value? If your share is posted on stock market, that means your share is listed on the National Stock Exchange or Bombay Stock Exchange, then no need to do this exercise. Why? Because readily you will get value. But sometimes, in so many cases, let's take the example of all private limited companies, their shares are not listed. Therefore, for them you should do the valuation. How to do the valuation, that we'll see later on, but for them you should. But in amalgamation also, in absorption we do valuation. Then in converting preference shares into equity shares, to give to decide the value of dissenting share, that means small shares, shareholders, if they do not agree to transfer their share, then court say do their valuation, and on that basis you pay them. Then in the nationalization, that means in converting your company private limited into public, you do valuation. Then after that, yes, for taking the securities, for giving loans and all. Okay. If bank want to give a loan on the basis of share capital of the company, then bank do the valuation, because that is that value, that means listed company's value, and though that is tested value, but obviously there you will find demand and supply force. That means you will not get the exact value. Therefore we do the valuation, and then your valuation is not the final valuation. Why this is so? Because so many other factors affects the valuation. if you calculate the value, I cannot say that in India this is the value, in USA also this is value. Let it be calculated by any person. That person will get value as I have calculated. That means your value and that person value would be the different. Why this is so? Because your assumptions, correct, uh, your thinking, your basis could be the different. Therefore, my dear students, while valuing, also take into account nature of company, economic conditions, then demand and supply, proportionate. That means so many. If anyone asks which factors affecting the valuation, then you can say all of these factors affecting the valuation. Then proportionate, then rate, then yield, goodwill of a company, then types of management, their capacity, restriction on investment, then dividend, yes, regular uh, giving of dividend continuously in regular intervals, yes, or what, not giving the dividend depends upon the company's policy, and that also depends upon the investor. Some investor like dividend, some doesn't. Yes, they are interested in appreciation, capital appreciation, then they do some different valuation, correct. Their value could be different from your valuation, totally depend upon the perspective. Then, my dear students, we have valuation methods. As far as accountant is concerned, we are interested in more in calculation. Therefore, here three types of calculations, three types of methods we do have. Now, net asset, yield, and fair value. For net, you will find so many names like intrinsic, book value, asset backing, and balance sheet, and then cost approach. Then for yield also, you will find earning capacity, market value, income approach, and all. And then fair value. Fair value is not a separate method as such. This is just the average of first two methods. A plus B we can say divided by 2. A's answer plus B's answer divided by 2, you will get fair values answer. Fair values methods answer. This is focusing on your property. This is focusing on your income earning capacity. Correct. Now, in actual classes, I have given you example of a marriage. If you are a girl student and then father and mother says that will search for a boy, then father and mother take into account what? They take into account the property of boy or that family, boy's family, and they also take into account earning capacity of that boy. If only he is having property and he doesn't know how to earn the money, then for how many days, yes, that property, with that property he can survive. Therefore, definitely property must be there as well as earning capacity must be there. This fair value is saying, don't just check the property or don't just check the yield. Okay. Now, then moving ahead, how to calculate the property in general sense. How do we calculate the property? Yes, we add what we are possessing. If we are possessing, if I say you calculate your property or tell me your property, you will say that I have one flat. I have one flat, 10 lakh rupees flat. Then I have one car, it's 5 lakhs rupees car. Then if I say what more do you have, you will say that yes, I have one bike, say 1 lakh rupees bike. Okay, this much property, and then you will say my property is rupees 16 lakhs, because I know you are my friend. Sometimes before you already told me that to take a flat I have taken a loan. You already told me. Therefore, I will say, don't lie, Sham. Your property is not 16 lakh. Your property is, yes, less than 16 because you have taken loan. Means that payable money is payable to bank. That means that money is not yours money. Flat is not only yours. You have given hypothecation of a flat to bank. You are not only the owner. Bank is also owner in that. Therefore, If you want to become fully owner of a plant, you must pay loan as well. Therefore, if anyone asks, then you should tell that person net property, not just the gross property. Suppose if you have taken 4 lakhs rupees loan, then your property would become 12 lakhs. Correct. And similarly, in this valuation, we calculate net property, not the gross property. Then what is gross property for a company? Gross property means total of your assets. Total of assets. Correct. And what is then this loan? Loan means your liability. And net property means assets minus liabilities. But here, uh, we have not taken into account in this general example, we have not taken into account your, yes, staff welfare expenses, office expenses, yes, etc. We have not taken into account some fictitious assets like your let's say underwriting commission and all. Correct. Your contingent assets, liabilities. Correct. But my dear students, in a company, you will find some real assets and some fictitious assets. As far as asset side is concerned, you will find two types of assets: real assets and then fictitious assets. Correct. Then what should we consider in this calculation? Whether real or fictitious, we should consider real assets, not the fictitious. Then you could ask me, sir, we don't know what is fictitious. Can you explain? Yes, fictitious means what? Those assets which we cannot sell in the open market. They don't have substance. Okay. Example, underwriting commission. Underwriting commission. Can we sell underwriting commission in open market? Can I say, yes, I have spent this much 1 lakh rupees on expenses, underwriting commission. Now I am to sell. No, you cannot sell. Like profit and loss, can you sell your loss? Just loss, not the company with loss, just loss. Can you sell loss? No, you cannot sell loss. Then, my dear students, can you sell just the discount, not the shares? Discount on issue of shares, or sorry, shares. This term you will not find. But can you sell discount on issue of debentures? You cannot sell. How? Without selling shares, just discount sale is not possible. That means what? Though we have written them on the asset side, we cannot sell them. Therefore, you will not find those type of fictitious assets or these types of fictitious assets in what? Asset total. To calculate the property, we should deduct assets. We should deduct liabilities from assets. That means assets minus liability. But in an asset, don't consider these fictitious assets. Only few types of fictitious assets we are having. This is not at all complicated. My dear students, here generally you will find underwriting commission. Then loss, that means profit and loss in bracket debit balance. Then discount on issue of debentures, preliminary expenses, formation expenses, etc. Understood? Only these types of miscellaneous. If you get this type of item on the balance sheet asset side, don't consider them in assets. It's very simple. And what about the liabilities? Yes, as far as the liabilities are concerned, my dear students, liabilities take only into account external liabilities. External liabilities. It's already, I think so, 14 minutes. Correct. External liabilities. Now, external liabilities means which type of liabilities? Payable to third party, not to your brothers, not to your sisters and own family members. In balance sheet, you will find your brothers and sisters as well. If you are equity, preference shares are your what? Family members. Therefore, don't take into account their property. And related to preference share and equity shares, you will find, yes, reserve and surplus group also. Accumulated profit means the general reserve and other types of reserves. It belongs to owners only. They are their capital. Yes, these items form the part of what? Owners fund. Therefore, Owner's fund means the internal. Therefore, we do not take into account those internal items. Now, you will say, sir, we have confused totally. Can you give us the examples? If you give us the examples, then definitely we will understand it properly. Now, see, I have one PDF file. I already posted this. Here, this is a problem 24, vertical type of balance sheet. On the liability side, see, on the liability side, we have three groups: first shareholder fund, non-current, and current group. And then on the asset side, we have two groups: non-current and current. First, we'll try to understand about the assets, because we generally do assets minus liabilities. Therefore, focus on the assets. Only two groups. And in a non-current group, always in a vertical balance sheet, we'll find the last item of other non-current assets. Correct. Don't consider this group. If other non-current name is not there, then by reading item name, you will understand. That means you should consider fixed asset, tangible, intangible, non-current investment, but not this item, other non-current asset, this group. Correct. Don't consider. That means in a calculation, you will not find 33,000. Then only this much, only this item. All other items you should consider in assets, in calculation. Therefore, it's my suggestion to you that after getting paper, just scratch it out, this 33,000. Then there is no possibility will not remain you to write 33 in answer. Sometimes you know that we shouldn't consider, but because of exam pressure, you consider that. Therefore, just scratch it out. 33,000. Okay. Then after this, do we have one more problem? Yes, we have some more problems. 26, full like vertical type of balance sheet. Now here, in this problem, first, second, and third category of a liability side, and then two categories of asset. Now here on the asset, we have fixed and non-current. And in current, we have investment, trade, and all. Now, do we have miscellaneous expenditure group, other non-current asset group? No, we don't have. That means we should consider all these items in our property, in assets. Okay. Then next problem: what to consider, what not to consider. If you able to identify it, if you able to write this in answer, then definitely you will get marks of net asset method. Now, as far as this problem and asset side is concerned, here, see, we should consider this, we should also consider, and then in non-current group only, you will find this B, discount on issue of shares. As I said here, what we do not consider underwriting commission, loss on profit and loss, discount on issue of debenture, preliminary and formation. Is this fictitious? Yes, this is fictitious. How? Because we cannot sell this. We are already identified, and you know obviously right now. Just remember, try to remember, or after reading, ask yourself whether we can sell. If we can sell, then consider that. If we haven't, or if we couldn't sell, then consider that as a fictitious. Now consider this as a fictitious. Then just scratch it out. All other assets and here assets, liabilities we'll think later on. All these assets you should consider in calculation. Okay. Then what about the liabilities? About the liabilities, we have to consider what? Only external liabilities. Identifying external liabilities is very simple. This is how you can identify external liabilities. Here you will find three groups. First group is what? Shareholders group. That means internal group. Internal. And second and third is what? Your external group. External. For first method, we'll discuss for half an hour. The next method for half an hour. We cannot complete. If I should, if you say me to cover within half an hour, that is not possible, because here I am explaining in detailed manner. मुझे लगा था कि मैं कंप्लीट कर पाऊंगा, मगर अभी नहीं लग रहा है, तो आधा घंटा इसी मेथड को देना होगा. तो एक्सटर्नल एंड इंटरनल. तो इंटरनल don't consider this. For first method I am saying, सेकेंड मेथड का जो रहेगा वो अलग से हम देखेंगे. In first method, you should consider only these liabilities. Now here 12% debenture is written. 12% debenture is the name of debenture. Therefore, don't calculate. Correct. Sunil Appa. That means we do not consider Sunil and Appa separately. Sunil Appa is name of that person. Like this, we do not consider debentures and their 12% separately. This is the name 12%. Just write this 12%, whatever is the amount of debenture, that in the liabilities. Correct? That means in a B group, 6 lakhs rupees. Understood? And then the previous one problem. In this problem, can you identify external liabilities from internal liabilities? Yes, you will say that, sir. Just now you said second and third means the external, and then first means the internal. Very good. Like this also you can remember, or remember share capital and their related reserve and surplus is internal, and other than reserve and share capital is external. That means non-current and current is external, and this share capital with reserve and surplus is internal. Understood now? After identifying, we will solve one problem from our what? Before solving, you must have format. One thing I forgot to tell: after getting paper, draw the format. Don't wait for someone to give you answer. Don't wait someone for what distribute the question papers. Before getting question paper, you can draw format like this, because you know the format. Let it be any problem, format will remain same. Now what to draw and where to draw it. Now three methods, that means all. First, give name of first method, and the masala type of thing you can fill it. This is the exam. If you do better presentation, you get the better marks. Then write in the books of dash dash dash, then calculation for value of one share, and then net asset method, and as on like date you can write, and then in this table particulars rupees amount. Correct? Rupees and then amount rupees. Then as I said, to get the asset or to get the property, A minus B, that means assets minus liabilities. Therefore first assets, 8 to 9 lines in exam, and then for liabilities 5 lines. Okay. And then you will find total net assets. Yes, total net assets, not the assets available to equity shareholders. We wanted to calculate the property of one equity share, not the property of company. This is total net property of the company. If you just consider assets, the gross property of company, if you consider liabilities as well, that will become the net property of company. But remember, we don't want net property of company. If you read a problem clearly, then there you will find calculate the value of one equity share. That means property of equity shareholders, not the preference shareholders. Understood? Therefore, after calculating total net assets, from that deduct preference shareholder property. Preference shareholders property means their share capital plus their dividend. Yes, I have written. You please write this also. If that is not given in exam, then always you can write 0 or nil there. But if that is given, then instead of forgetting it, if you have written, you cannot forget. Okay. If that is there, share and then less preference shareholder, you will find that while calculating, no, these figures are not there. Then you will ask yourself, I must check in the problem. After checking in the problem, you will not get their preference shares and their dividend as well. Therefore, you can write 0. If given, then you can write the amount. That means definitely if you do presentation like this, if you draw in format itself preference shareholders, preference share capital and preference dividend, then you cannot make mistake in exam. Understood? Now, then after that, now take the total. Suppose here we have 10 rupees and here we have 1 rupees, then here in outer column you should write 11 rupees. Correct? Total in the outer column. Don't deduct preference dividend from preference share. While solving, I will definitely explain, but right now in the format, you should take the total like this. Inner column total, all the asset total we take. We do not deduct the second asset from the first asset. We take the total of all assets and we write that total in outer. Then as far as liabilities are concerned, we take the total of all liabilities and we write that in outer column. Correct or not? Similarly, you should take the total of preference shares as well as dividend, and you should write that in outer. While yes, checking the assignments, while analyzing why students got the wrong answer here, I found that students have deducted, yes, students have deducted from preference share capital, let's see, that is 1 lakh, the dividend. Don't deduct dividend from this capital. Instead, you should take the total and you should write that in outer. Understood? Some important points. I want that you should not make the mistake in exam. Therefore, I am explaining. Let it be a video for 1 hour or anything, but you should know where should students do the mistake, and you will not going to do these types of mistake again in exam. Understood? Then my dear students, net assets available to equity shareholder. Net asset available, that means what? From A minus B, if you deduct D, you will get what? Net asset available to. That means, let's say here we have 500, or while solving you will understand. Net assets available to equity shareholder from C, D, and then value of one equity share. After getting net asset available to equity shareholder, total net asset available to equity shareholder, you can calculate value of one equity share. Now, how? Total net asset available to equity shareholder, that is E divided by number of this E, that is divided by number of equity shares. And how do we calculate number of equity shares? Let's say share capital we are having of rupees 5 lakh and one share value of rupees 10, then you get number of shares is equal to 50,000, and we are interested in this 50,000 here, number of shares. If you simply divide E by number of equity shares, you get your answer. Understood? Any doubt here? I think so, no. 5 lakhs divided by 10. Students generally write, I found in assignment, they write 10. Some students write here 5 lakhs. All these answers are wrong. If you write 50,000, then that is correct. Share capital, that you will get from balance sheet liability side. This first there. Equity share capital, not the preference share capital. This is arrears of dividend. We do not deduct anywhere dividend on equity shares. We just deduct dividend on preference shares. Understood? In assignment, I have given you equity dividend as well, but this is just for, yes, confusing you. We do not consider anywhere that proposed dividend, that means dividend on equity shares, here in the calculation. Why this is so? Because if nothing has mentioned, we do calculate cum dividend value, not the ex dividend. In SY, they will not going to ask you ex dividend. If asked, in actual practice, if you are interested in calculating ex dividend, then only you have to deduct proposed dividend. That means dividend to equity shareholder. Otherwise, don't take the tension, don't deduct that, don't see at all towards the proposed dividend if mentioned in the problem. उसके तरफ देखो ही मत, उसको इग्नोर करो. इग्नोर करने के लिए आपको मार्क्स मिलेंगे. एक्चुअल लाइफ में भी हम सुखी रह सकते हैं किसी को इग्नोर करके. तो इग्नोर, उसको छोड़ दो. आप क्या करोगे? सुखी रहोगे, यानी इधर आपको मार्क्स मिल जाएंगे. अंडरस्टूड? You must have understood this first method. Now, with help of some data, we will calculate. Do we have a problem here? Let me check. It's a departmental teaching corporate account. We will take one assignment problem. We'll take this 20 number problem. This is the balance sheet of Radha Madhav as on 31st March 2014, and they are seeing us to calculate value of each share, each equity share, as per all three methods. And then in this balance sheet, what do we have, my dear students? We have liabilities as well as assets. Now, I'm asking you a question. You'll say, sir, don't ask us the question. No, you know answer. Therefore, I am asking. Now, then, what do you know? You know. What you'll say? You know the external and internal liabilities. Now, this is your liability side. Yeah, up from this to this, you will find all liabilities. Now, tell me which liabilities you should consider in the calculation. You should consider this second as well as third, and you shouldn't consider red these what internal liabilities. Only you should consider external liabilities. That means non-current and current liabilities. ये तो लाइबिलिटी का हो गया. अभी एसेट में क्या कंसिडर, प्रॉब्लम एक बार पढ़ोगे ना तो आपको पता चलेगा. पढ़ने के बाद आपको स्क्रैच करना है जैसे मैंने किया है. डोंट टेक too much tension of examiner. He will going to say that don't write anything on the question, just ignore that exam or use pencil. I shouldn't say like this, but you can ignore that. Then on the asset side we have non-current assets as well as the current assets. Non-current and current, what I said, in a non-current, at last, see the bottom, the end of non-current, there you will find B, and in a B what they have written, discount on issue of debentures. You will get some hint and ask yourself whether am I correct, is this a fictitious? Yes, you will get answer within, yes, this is the fictitious. I cannot sell discount on issue of debentures in our open market. This type of bell you will find ringing in your mind. Correct? Therefore just ignore, scratch it out. You will not going to make a mistake. Now, and then after that what then next? After that, my dear students, over by reading the balance sheet, you should just mark like this, ignore the cross mark over first item of the first category of the liability, and then assets, the discount fictitious assets, just ignore or scratch it out. And after that, no need to read all these assets. This just check. After this you should check the information. तो आप बोलोगे अभी आपने एसेट लिखने के लिए बोला, I told you to write the assets from balance sheet, but my dear students, wait, don't write assets and liabilities from balance sheet. Then what to do? Write assets and liabilities from first information and then compare it with the balance sheet. If we haven't considered that from the information, then only those assets and liability you can consider from balance sheet. क्या बोला, पता चला क्या? जो एसेट्स एंड लायबिलिटी इंफॉर्मेशन में दिए है उसको पहले लिखो, फिर लिखने के बाद बैलेंस शीट की तरफ देखो और खुद को ही बोलो कि मैंने ये लिखा है या नहीं लिखा है. तो कैसे करेंगे हम देखेंगे. हमने अभी बिल्डिंग फर्नीचर इंफॉर्मेशन से लिखा, एज्यूम करो कि हमने फर्नीचर इंफॉर्मेशन से लिख लिया है, और अभी बैलेंस शीट रीड करते समय आपको तो पता है ये छोड़ के सब लिखना है. तो फर्नीचर, बैलेंस शीट का फर्नीचर, तो फर्नीचर डबल नहीं होगा. We have already written furniture with the information, therefore don't write it again from the balance sheet. Just ask yourself whether you have written or not. If written, ignore. If not, then write from the balance sheet. And what about the value? That the same value, book value. You cannot take your own value. Understood? Some different rule is there for goodwill, but other than goodwill we follow this rule. If value is not given of a particular asset in the information, then we write book value of that asset. Understood the rule? कुछ नहीं है, सिंपल है. इंफॉर्मेशन से आपको एसेट्स के नाम पहले लिखना है, फिर वो बैलेंस शीट जो है उसके साथ उसको कंपेयर करना है. लिखा है तो बैलेंस शीट से हम अगेन नहीं लिखेंगे, वो डबल नहीं होगा, उसको छोड़ देंगे. नहीं लिखा है तो बैलेंस शीट में जो दिया है उसका नाम और उसका वैल्यू वो लिखेंगे. तो सिंपल है. आई विल स्प्लिट माई स्क्रीन हियर टू अंडरस्टैंड इट क्लियरली. नाउ चेक. तो जैसे बोला था, हम पहले इंफॉर्मेशन को पढ़ेंगे और उसको लिखने का प्रयास करेंगे. नाउ एसेट्स विच एसेट्स बोलो. पहले तो फर्नीचर दिया है, फर्नीचर टिक भी करते जाएंगे. फर्नीचर don't see my handwriting because here 14 lakhs 45,000 rupees. Yes, write this 14 lakhs 45,000 furniture. Then we have stock, right? Then stock. Sometimes you will get value readily, no need to calculate, but sometimes you have to calculate indirect value they will give you, like stock. Now what about the stock is overvalued, they are saying stock is overvalued. What it mean by stock is overvalued, यानी जो हमारा अकाउंटेंट था उसने ज्यादा ही लिख लिया, ओवर वैल्यू करके लिख लिया, ज्यादा लिखा, मिस्टेक से ज्यादा हो गया वो, तो अभी हमको वैल्यूएशन के समय करेक्ट चाहिए। मिस्टेक से ज्यादा हो गया, स्टॉक इज ओवर वैल्यूड यानी ज्यादा हो गया, मिस्टेक हो गया, ज्यादा हो गया, तो उसको मारेंगे थोड़ी। यस, अरे ज्यादा क्यों लिखा, ऐसा तो नहीं बोल सकते ना, तो क्या करेंगे, उसको रेक्टिफाई करेंगे। हाउ, ज्यादा लिखा है तो उसको कम करेंगे, यानी नो नीड टू मग अप। ओवर वैल्यूड वी वांट एट अ पार, इफ ओवर then just decrease it, and if that is undervalued, if that is yes less than your, yes we want par, therefore just increase it. Under increase, over decrease. Yes, here overvalued. Now then from what we should deduct 1 lakh? From the book value of the stock, sorry book, yes, book value of the stock. Here closing stock or inventory, but that is one and the same. Therefore what, now see the value, this value, inventory is 5,55,500, 5,55,500 minus, if you know this method clearly, then you can skip the video, huh? No need to listen all these things in detail, or you can fast forward it. 5,55,000 minus 1 lakh. I have seen some students made mistake, and 20% students, let's say, if this assignment is given by 500 plus students and 20% made mistake in this plus or minus. It's very simple. We want at a par. If over, just bring down. If under, just bring up, add or less, that you know. Now this is overvalued, you should bring down, that means minus. ऐसा नहीं पार, ये नहीं वो पॉसिबल है, तो अकाउंटेंट का एग्जांपल लेके थोड़ा सा नाम लेके बोलो, सुनील आपने ओवर वैल्यू किया है, क्या क्या दिमाग घूम गया था क्या, ओवर वैल्यू, तो ओवर वैल्यू है ना, तो अभी कम कर, ऐसा बोलेंगे, कम कर तो माइनस, ऐसा खुद के साथ बोलना है ना, सीखो। 4,55,000, 4,55,000, understood? Now then after stock, my dear students, we have next adjustment 10% RDD, 10% RDD. Next then RDD is related to debtors. Yes, debtors. And have they given debtors? Yes, debtor, the second name of debtor, you know, trade receivable. Yes, debtor and trade receivable is one and the same. Means Sunu and Pappu, correct. 3,11,000 rupees, 3 lakhs, घर में एक बाहर एक, तो चलेगा, वो तो सेम ही है ना। 10% RDD, you know, we deduct the RDD from debtors. I have not seen anyone who added RDD in the debtors. Therefore no need to explain what to do, why do we deduct RDD and all. We make the provision for loss, for unpayment there, for non-payment. 10%, 10% we will say 3,100, 31,100. 3,11,000. No, 3,11,000 minus 100. Do we have calculator? If I do the calculation, that will consume a lot of time, but here we don't have any choice. 3,11,000 minus 3,1,100. Correct now? Then you will get here 2,79,900. Then we have goodwill. Yes, what about the goodwill? Goodwill means always what? The calculated goodwill, the balance sheet goodwill. Okay, अभी आपको आया नहीं, मैंने तो डिफिकल्ट एडजस्टमेंट में वो बोला था आपको, गुडविल का वैल्यू देते हैं तो ही लिखेंगे, नहीं दिया है तो बुक वैल्यू नहीं आएगा, गुडविल आएगा ही नहीं इस एसेट में। जो ओरिजिनल बैलेंस शीट है ना, उसका वैल्यू 0 बन जाता है गुडविल का, नया दिया है ना वैल्यू गुडविल का, वही आता है, बैलेंस शीट का वैल्यू गुडविल का आता ही नहीं। आप आपको ये सोचने की जरूरत ही नहीं है एग्जाम के रिलेटेड, ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं, जस्ट गुडविल, गुडविल इज एसेट, राइट दैट गुडविल इन द एसेट 1,50,000, 1,50,000। अभी मैं आपको कंफ्यूज नहीं करना चाहता। Then after that the profit before tax and all, and then years are given, and then the rupees are given, is the profit in rupees, no need to consider, correct, because this is related to the second method, not the property method, net asset method. This is earning, not the property. In earning we will definitely consider. Then company transfer, it's a practice of company to transfer 25% to general reserve. Yes, what is this? This is also related to earning. Profits, that means related to earning, no need to think here right now. And then similar types of company, earns word is there, therefore this is also related to second method. Okay, don't read this adjustment then. And then after that we have last adjustment related to unrecorded liabilities, liabilities and assets, that means related to property, consider this. Now write this in property, where unrecorded liability, you will say that whatever they have given in the information, all related to property, we have to consider. Yes, you have to consider. Let it be that is there or not there in the balance sheet, you should consider that. If you have unrecorded assets, some typewriter, because of depreciation you will not find in the balance sheet, but that is there in the books, while doing the valuation we take that into account also, because by selling that we will get some nominal amount, but why to ignore that nominal also to get the correct answer? Therefore if that is unrecorded asset or that is unrecorded liability, consider that, okay, in the calculation or in E and B. Now here unrecorded liability, in liability what, right, unrecorded liability 25,000. So many students I have seen in the assignment as well forgot to write unrecorded assets and liabilities, unrecorded liabilities. Yes, you will not going to forget. Understood? We have considered this adjustment. Okay, that means all the adjustments are over. Now one more here, proposed dividend. One more adjustment. This is related to the second method, therefore just square it. And then last note, the company proposed dividend 20% on equity shares only. This part of a sentence, proposed dividend to equity shares. While discussing theory, what I said, don't consider proposed dividend to equity shareholder. Why? Because we are now doing cum dividend calculation, not the ex dividend calculation. If examiner asks you to do so, then you should consider, otherwise you shouldn't consider. Then why they have given? To confuse you only they have given. Correct? जो जो दिया है ये तो सब यूज करना, ऐसा थोड़ी होता है, दिया रहता है कंफ्यूज करने के लिए, तो नहीं उसको सोचो, मत ले लो उसको। तो उसके बाद में also declares dividend to preference shareholders, प्रेफरेंस शेयरहोल्डर्स को डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर किया हुआ है, डिक्लेयर किया तो देना ही पड़ेगा, वो तो लाइबिलिटी बन जाएगी, करेक्ट है। तो कितना, ये 20% इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर वालों का था, इनका रेट का क्या, where what about the rate and where will get that rate? Yes, my dear students, you know rate is always given in their name itself. Like debenture holders, you'll find the 8% preference shareholders, 9%, 10%, 12%, anything. Yes, the rate is there in their name only. We pay dividend at this rate, okay? Very important. Students in assignment, what I have done, they have taken this rate 20%. My dear son, 20% is not the correct rate. That rate is for equity shareholder, and this rate is for your this rate is for your preference shareholders, 8%. Therefore calculate and write that, where now preference share capital, that preference share capital, how much is that, 1,44,500, and their in their what dividend. Now do the calculation. 1,44,500 into let's say 8%. See, into 8 divided by 100. 11,560, and then you can write the total in the outer column. 1,44,500 plus 11,560, 1,56,060. Understood? Now, we have done with I think so all the adjustments. तो एडजस्टमेंट हो गया. अभी हमको क्या करना है, बैलेंस शीट की तरफ देखना है. उसके पहले बैलेंस शीट की तरफ देखो ही मत. तो बैलेंस शीट में हमारे पास है एसेट्स एंड लायबिलिटीज. Now first complete the asset part, A part, then we'll think about the B. Furniture. Now see here furniture. Furniture, yes, in an asset you will get the furniture. Just टिक करना है आपको. तो ग्रीन ये हमने लिखा है फर्नीचर, यस लिखा है, तो फिर नहीं लिखेंगे. गुडविल लिखा है, यस गुडविल लिखा है, तो फिर नहीं लिखेंगे. फिर उसको देखो, इधर जाके देखना है आपको, आपको पता चलेगा. ये तो हम कंसिडर ही नहीं करने वाले, तो उसको इसको हमने स्क्रैच, उसको पढ़ा ही मत. तो क्लोजिंग स्टॉक, स्टॉक लिखा है, यस लिखा है, स्टॉक भी हो गया, फर्नीचर हो गया, गुडविल हो गया. फिर ट्रेड रिसीवेबल दैट मींस डेटर्स लिखा है, तो नहीं लिखेंगे, अगेन नहीं लिखेंगे. कैश एंड कैश इक्विवेलेंट नहीं लिखा है, तो लिखेंगे कैश एंड कैश इक्विवेलेंट. Their amount, and what about their amount? As I said, if amount is not given, you cannot do anything. You have to take this amount only. 2,39,000. 2,39,000. अभी तो कैलकुलेशन में ए का कैलकुलेशन आप करेंगे. ए का ये 45. I will do the calculation for you. Okay, I have done the calculation. The calculation is 25,69,400. 5,55,500 and minus 1 lakh, you will get 4,55,500. We forgot to write here 500. Correct? 25,69,400. This is the total of A part. Now A part is now over, my dear students. Now as like B part. Now in a B, whatever we have already written unrecorded. Now consider one by one these liabilities. A group, you shouldn't consider that, you know. Let me start from second group. Loans against mortgage. Therefore, right, have we written that loan against mortgage here in liabilities? No. Therefore, right. If already written, no need to write it. You can write loans against the mortgage 5,11,000, 5,11,000, and then after that trade payable. We haven't written, therefore write trade payable 4,39,000, and then 4,39,000, and then my dear students, we have current tax. This is also liability, you should write now 10,000, and then just take the total is 9,85,000. Use your calculator, you will get the total 9,85,000. Then after that you will get the next total. You will get the next total. I have that total with me. Yes, A minus B, that is fine. A minus B, that means 25 lakhs something. 25 lakhs 69,400 minus 9,85,000 is equal to 15 lakhs 84,400. In assignment, I told you to write net asset available to equity shareholder, not this total. Okay, you will get like A minus B, and then from this, if you deduct 1,56,060, you will get 14 lakhs 28,000. 14 lakhs 28,340. 14 lakhs 28,340. Correct. And then after this, value of one share E, 14 lakhs 28,340 divided by number of shares. How do we calculate number of shares? We calculate number of shares by just dividing. Now do somewhere this calculation. Now total value divided by value of one share, each share, 6,55,500 This is the value after call scenarios, and divide by 10, you will get 6555 655 65,550 shares, and then 6 divided by 65550, you will get your value, that is equal to value of one share. You can write 21.79 in two decimals per share. 29.79 per share. Okay, here we have completed our first method. So after completing, within 1 minute we'll revise. What do? We first draw the format: A part, B part, C, D. A assets, B liabilities, C total net asset, D preference shares, preference shareholders in that preference shares and their dividend, areas of dividend, and then E net asset available to equity shareholders, and F value of one share. A means only real assets. Forget fictitious asset. Discount on issue of debentures, preliminary expenses, formation expenses, and then profit and loss. Correct? Or one or two more also you'll find, but these regular items. Correct? And then what other assets with their given value in information we consider. If not, then we compare that with the asset side of a balance sheet. If value is not given in information or name is not there in the information, then we take that from the balance sheet and their value also from balance sheet. We have exception of a goodwill. If goodwill value is not given in the information, then we do not consider goodwill balance sheet value. We just write 0 value of goodwill. Though that is written 1 lakh in balance sheet, we consider that as a 0. Goodwill is exception, but that exception don't remember here. Just sometimes you will get, sometimes you will find it useful. You forget here. And then B part liabilities, external liabilities. A part just ignore. B non-current and current, yes, that you should write here. And then there, what we can say, book values if not given. Same procedure of asset we follow for liability. And then from A you deduct B to get the total net, and then from that we deduct preference share capital with their dividend to get the total net assets available to equity shareholder. And we finally divided by number of shares. Let's say 25. Here how do we calculate the value? This value divided by per share value. You get those numbers. We divide by those numbers, and then we get what the final answer, per share answer. Means okay, take a pause for 1 minute, and then we will start this earning field. I will not waste your time, means too much time. Just I think so. Here only so many students have so many doubts. I will try to nullify all those doubts just by drawing the format. If you draw a format like this, you will never get the doubt. No, earning yield, see the format. We have steps here. Step number 1, step number 2, 3 and 4, and then finally, your final answer. Step number 1, a table. In a table, what should you write? Years, profit before tax, and then profit after tax, weight and weighted profit. Okay, on screen you will find. Okay, we'll see just the format first. Now understood? You should draw like this in exam also. After profit, before profit, what about the rate? Should we deduct? What about the weight and all? No need to do any confusion. Let it be any problem. Draw format like this. If you draw, you will get correct answer. Understood? And then average weighted or just the average profit. Correct. Average weighted, or we will say average. Average weighted or average profit. Correct. and then this is second step. In second step we calculate FMP, future maintainable profit. In third step we capitalize this FMP, and in a fourth step we calculate value of one share. Okay, format is very simple: years, PBT, tax, profit after tax, weight and weighted profit, and then average oblique weighted profit, average weighted profit, average or average weighted. Then FMP, future maintainable. How do we calculate? Average weighted और average profit. जो आएगा वो, जो पहले स्टेप का आंसर है वो लिखेंगे इधर, minus preference dividend if given preference shares in the problem. If not given, no need to write, but for the sake of formula you can write preference minus preference dividend, and then plus or minus adjustments. Correct. And then finally capitalization of FMP. It's very simple. Whatever you have got in the second step, that is FMP, write that and divide it just by NRR. That means to solve this problem, we require profits, we require tax rate if yes given, and then we require NRR and all. Now you will say that sir, in the problem you have drawn so many things, we do not understand what you have drawn. Therefore do one thing, just tell us which things are relevant for second method, this method. My dear students, here in this problem for net asset, let it be any, for net asset method, sorry, for earning yield method, only few things are important. You shouldn't read all the things. Whatever they have given, wherever they have given, no need to consider, because simple problem only you will get in the exam. Correct. Therefore, focus on this adjustment only. Let me use this color. Yes, I haven't yet used this color. Therefore, I will use this color to tell you that what is relevant for the yield method. Now, this adjustment is relevant for yield method. Plus, it's practice of a company to transfer 25% to general reserve. My dear students, this will not going to affect your earning capacity, as well as this will not going to affect the property of the company. We are just changing the name of a profit from profit to general reserve. Just by changing the name, your calculation, your value will not change. Therefore, you have to ignore this adjustment. Correct. Don't follow Nirali publication, just ignore this adjustment. Scratch it out. Don't consider. मैं चुकना नहीं, ये गलत नहीं होगा, उसको स्क्रैच कर दो. फिर सिमिलर टाइप्स ऑफ कंपनी, सिमिलर टाइप्स ऐसा दिया होता है तो ये क्या होता है, ये एनआरआर होता है. माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, दिस इज योर एनआरआर. We required NRR in this method, and this is your normal rate of return, NRR. And then this adjustment we already considered. The last adjustment also we have considered. Correct. But from the last adjustment, this part we require for the earning yield. And what about the balance sheet? Which part of balance sheet we do require, my dear students? And that preference dividend part. But yes, we already calculated. Therefore, we will not going to calculate that again in this method. Whatever we have got in the first method, in the net asset, there that dividend, same dividend we will copy here also in this method. Therefore, no need to highlight it. And then share capital, we want number of shares. We already calculated number of shares. Therefore, is from balance sheet, nothing as such we want. Understood? Only from information we want some figures, and which figures we already highlighted. Now one by one write all those figures here. आपको मैं वेरिएशन भी दिखा दूंगा, कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. तो जैसे ईयर दिए है ना वैसे ही लिखो. सब बोलते हैं कि उल्टा लिखना, सीधा लिखना, कैसे ही लिखो. लिखो, ईयर्स को लिखना है तो लिखेंगे 2011. उल्टा सीधा आपको पता चलेगा ना. कोई बोलते 13 14 पहले लिखो फिर 11 नहीं, जैसे दिया है वैसे लिखो, ज्यादा दिमाग मत चलाओ. 12 13 देन 2013 14 एंड देन प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स और आफ्टर टैक्स दिया है वो पहले देखो. प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्स दिया है माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, दे हैव गिवन अस प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्स. हमको दिया है प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्स, फोकस हियर, देयरफॉर यू शुड राइट दैट इन प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्स कॉलम, मत लिखो टैक्स और बिफोर टैक्स और टैक्स के कॉलम में। दिया क्या है आफ्टर टैक्स, तो आफ्टर टैक्स कॉलम में इसको लिखो 1 लाख 1 लाख 1,02,000 रुपीज, 61,500 रुपीज एंड 37,000 लिख लिया। फिर दिमाग को जरा दिमाग की बत्ती जला दो, ऐसा ऐसा बोल सकते हैं। लिखने के बाद आपको एक क्वेश्चन आपको वही पूछना है, ये प्रॉफिट जो है ना 3 इयर्स के, वो पर्टिकुलर ट्रेंड फॉलो करते हैं या नहीं फॉलो करते हैं। ट्रेंड यानी अपवर्ड भी रह सकता है या डाउनवर्ड भी रह सकता है। प्रॉफिट ऐसे बढ़ते 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 हुए बढ़ेंगे, या तो नीचे जाते हुए कम कम होते जाएंगे। ट्रेंड रहेगा तो ही वेट आएगा, नहीं तो वेट नहीं आएगा। ट्रेंड रहेगा, बीच में बढ़ेंगे, बीच में फिर कम होंगे, ऐसा उसको मिक्स ट्रेंड बोलते हैं। वो तो ट्रेंड नहीं है, ट्रेंड नहीं के बराबर है। ऐसे है तो वेट नहीं आएंगे, वेटेड नहीं आएंगे। पहले ईयर से दूसरे वाला ईयर ज्यादा होना चाहिए, दूसरे वाले से तीसरे वाला ज्यादा होना चाहिए, नहीं तो तीसरे वाले से दूसरे वाला कम, फिर उससे भी कम होना चाहिए। कम कम होते जाएगा, ऐसा ट्रेंड रहना चाहिए, ऐसा डिक्रीजिंग या तो इंक्रीजिंग। ऐसा इंक्रीज हुआ फिर बीच में कुछ हो गया, झपक गया, फिर गिर गया, फिर उठ गया, फिर गिरा उठा, ऐसा ट्रेंड है तो वेट नहीं आएगा, इसको नो वेट। इसका वेट आएगा, इसका वेट आएगा। अंडरस्टूड नाउ? I have clearly told. Now just see the figures. 1,02,000 रुपीज, ये तो हाईएस्ट था, तीन में से हाईएस्ट है। उसके बाद में थोड़ा कम हो गया 61,500, फिर उसके बाद में भी कम हो गया, यानी ये ट्रेंड फॉलो करता है। तो ये ट्रेंड है तो वेट तो लेना ही पड़ेगा। तो वेट कैसे लेंगे, 1 to 3 लेंगे या 3 to 1 लेंगे। तो ज्यादा जो फिगर है उसको ज्यादा वेट, कम फिगर है उसको कम वेट। यानी 1,02,000 ये ज्यादा है तो उसको ज्यादा ही वेट देना पड़ेगा। 3 to 1, 3 to 1 दे देंगे, फिर उसका कैलकुलेशन होगा। यस yes, ये नहीं है तो नहीं कैलकुलेट नहीं लिखेंगे, इसको ब्लैंक ही छोड़ देंगे, प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स और टैक्स। अंडरस्टूड? तो मिस्टेक होने का चांसेस ही नहीं। प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्स, टैक्स कॉलम में लिखा है, आफ्टर टैक्स के तो उसके आगे का ही कैलकुलेशन होगा, पीछे हम कैलकुलेशन करने के लिए थोड़ी आ जाएंगे। अंडरस्टूड? इट्स वेरी क्लियर। नाउ डू दिस कैलकुलेशन। 1,02,000 rupees into 3, you will get 3,06,000 rupees. Now 61,500 into 2, you will get 1,23,000 rupees, and then here into 1, no need to do this in calculation. And after doing these calculations, take the total of weight as well as total of weighted profit. Total of weight 6 and weighted profit 1,23,000 plus we will say 37,000 and plus 3,06,000 rupees. You will get 4,66,000 rupees, and then just do the weighted average calculation. Average means what? Something divided by something, you know what divided by what. This is weighted, therefore weighted average. 4,66,000 divided by 6. 4,66,000 divided by 6, you will get something here 77,666. First solve this problem, we will do the variation later on. You will understand what types of variations are there, correct? But later on, just focus on this problem. Now if you have any query, just post your query, type that in the chat box. I will answer definitely. 1,77,666 and 0.66. You can write 67 also, or just write 77,667. If per share calculation, then consider 2 decimals. If only total calculation, then at that time you can ignore decimals. Then average this 77,667 we'll say minus preference dividend. We already calculated that preference dividend. Now where is that? That preference dividend is here. Preference dividend, yes. 11,560. No need to again calculate it. 11,560. If not given, you can write 0. Plus or minus 0. Adjustments. No adjustments are there. One adjustment, but that we do not consider. Therefore, plus or minus 0. And then this minus, we'll say 11,560. 66,001. I think so. Someone is there. I come here to close the door. Let me. After getting this amount 66,607, third in capitalization 66,107 divided by NRR. NRR, as I said in problem we identified, that is 10%, not just the 10%. Therefore write percentage, then you will get the answer. Otherwise if you divide by 10, you will get some different answer. 107 divided by 10%. This calculator is, I think so. Divided by 10%, divided by 10 into, let's say, 100. 66107. 10% you can increase 10, that you know. Correct. And value of one share is 1,06,070 divided by number of shares. Number of shares also you will get from first method, 65,550. 65,550. 6,550. Correct? Am I correct? 65,550. Okay. And then divide by 65550. Yes, your answer is 10.08. And then finally earning yield का answer 10.08 plus ये वाला answer 21.79. 21.79 divided by 2. Plus we will say 21.79 divided by 2, 15.93 something. 10.16. Okay, this is your final 77,667. Okay, understood? This is all about your second method. Now in the second method some variations are there. Let me show you those variations. Now this is problem number 20. Here we don't have trend as such. Now sometimes here, let's say problem number 8. Now my dear students, in a problem number 8 they have given profit before tax. Correct? Then what to do if profit before tax is given? Now let's see. If profit before tax is given, then if profit before tax is given, then my dear students, please write all those figures, these figures, let's say 99,000 here in the profit before tax, 99,000, 58,500 here, and then 34,000, and then tax rate will come into picture, 25%. Now at here you can add 25%, then 99,000 into 25%, calculate that. 99,000 into 25% into 25 divided by 100, 24,750. And don't just apply the trend. First calculate profit after tax and then check for the trend. Okay, and then minus, you can say 74,250. Correct? And then for all these amounts calculate profit after tax, and then whether these are showing trend, then wait, and if no, then just take the total. Now we'll take one more here. Is it showing trend? 99.58. Yes, this is showing trend. Okay, therefore we will get here weight also, like weight 3 to 1 only. Correct, for this problem also. And then one more we'll see where trend is not given. If trend is not given, then my dear students, profit before tax or profit after tax, do that calculation, and these columns you will not find then, these columns. if profit before tax, then calculate profit after tax, and then for this total just divide it by 3. Here we divide it by 6 due to weight, but if weight is not there, if no trend is there, then just divide it by 3. If profit after tax is given, then no need to write this, only take the total and divide it by 3. It's very simple, you can do so, I think so. Now here they wanted to close this room, therefore we are closing the session. Definitely you must have understood. For any query you can call, or you can post that on the Telegram, or you can ask also in the chat box of YouTube. You'll get your answer. Thank you.